constructive dismissal is what I call the twin of unfair dismissal. And by way of the background, unfair dismissal is a situation where your employer has terminated your employment contract, and unfair or constructive dismissal is the opposite of that. It is not your employer terminating your contract of employment, it is actually you, the employee, resigning as a result of what could be classified as unreasonable conduct of the employer. That means you did not want to leave, it wasn't your choice to leave, but because of things done or undone by the employer, you are forced out of your employment. And in those circumstances, the employee should be able to bring a claim of constructive dismissal to the employment tribunal. Usually, there are two heads for that. You have a situation where the employer has breached the express terms of contract. That is number one. The second one is a situation where the employer has conducted himself in a way that is breached what is called the implied term of contract. There are numerous examples that we've come across in practice. For example, the employer has made changes to your working condition. The employer did not pay your salary on time, not just once, but over a considerable period of time. The employer has demoted you without any contractual basis for that. The employer has made changes to your working pattern. The employer has overloaded you with work unreasonably, and you complain about that. The employer has allowed you to work in unsafe environment. The employer has allowed a campaign of harassment or bullying against you. The employer has conducted discrimination, harassment, victimization against you, or has allowed that environment to exist in the workplace. So there are numerous examples that we've come across in practice. There are numerous examples that the tribunal have had to deal with over a very significant period of time. So it does vary, but the easiest one is one where you can actually point to express terms of contract. In the absence of that, you shouldn't be able to say, okay, you haven't done anything in breach of any express term of my contract. But when looked objectively, your conduct could be said to have caused damage to implied term of relationship of trust and confidence between the employer and the employee. Right, just let me clarify that even though I keep saying unreasonable, it is not every unreasonable conduct that necessarily justify the employee resigning and claiming for constructive dismissal. The unreasonable conduct must be so serious to go to the root of the contract. It must amount to serious repudiation of either express contractual term or implied term of contract. But in the event of the employee believing that the employer has conducted himself in a manner without reasonable or proper cause, in a way that is likely to destroy or seriously damage that relationship of trust and confidence between the employer and the employee, the first thing that I normally, and I'm sure most employment solicitors will advise, is that you should raise the issue with the employer, either by way of an informal complaint or proper formal grievance. Raise the issue first, try to resolve the dispute. Now, you might have some situation where the improper or unreasonable conduct was so serious that you should not be expected to continue to remain in that environment. Then in those circumstances, you could still leave and then claim for constructive dismissal. But by and large, what we find in practice is, if there are issues, try and resolve it. If the issue is resolved, then that may well be the end of it. Then there wouldn't be any need for you to resign. One needs to bear in mind that a resignation is a very serious step. So try and resolve the issue first. In the event of the issue not being resolved, then of course the employee should then consider taking the step to resign. That one, it is very important. There is a balance that needs to be gotten right, and that balance is, if this conduct has been done to you or done against you, you should not be too quick to leave. Because you don't want to go to the tribunal and the tribunal feel that, oh, why did you leave so soon? Is it because you want to get financial compensation? If there is that feeling, and that is on the one hand, you should not be too quick to leave. On the other hand, you should not be too late in leaving, because if you are too late in leaving, that may well be construed as you having waived the breach, having waived out unreasonable conduct by your employer, and having agreed, having accepted that kind of conduct. The tribunal may well feel that, oh, why did you not leave on time? Maybe you've accepted it. Maybe you are happy to continue to leave, to continue to work in that environment. So any employee that finds himself in that situation would have to be very careful in how he responds to it. Again, don't be too quick to leave. Try and resolve the issue by way of informal complaint or formal grievance. On the other hand, don't take too long in leaving.